nice to meet you, Dr. Thor Larson. My name is Jacob Morales, and this is my first semester working with the Noyce program, and I am just a GA for now, and I'm just glad to be a part of the bigger picture. Would you mind introducing yourself? Because I haven't really formally met you yet.
Yeah, we've been in the same room a few times at this point, but we've never really shaken hands. So, hey, how you doing? I'm Dr. Thor Larson, Thornton Larson, take your pick. I am a assistant professor of biology here at Sul Ross. I've been involved with the Noyce program now for, I think I've been working with them for 2 years, I think, two full years, somewhere in there. It gets messy, everything every year bleeds into the other, that kind of thing. But I've really enjoyed working with the Noyce program so far. Okay. And it's been great,
Nice. Yeah, it is a good little environment. Good like-minded people around us.
Good vibes.
What made you decide on being a mentor and getting involved with the Noyce program?
So one of the really interesting, cool, amazing things about the Noyce program is the goal of it is to help train certified teachers in specific fields in STEM, essentially. So when I look at students who come into my courses in college, I sometimes find myself wondering, I hope they had a good STEM education coming up, because especially those first year classes, in a lot of ways, it's completely revisiting material they should have already picked up, maybe not in as much detail. But the best way for them to learn that is by having teachers who essentially majored in that field and then also supplemented themselves with teaching strategies. And that's exactly what Noyce empowers. It empowers these future teachers to become, become have a lot more strength in these STEM fields, so that they can teach them in a stronger way to students. So they'll have better strength of teaching, probably than I really do even, and a stronger knowledge than someone who might be more generally engaged in teaching as opposed to the science itself. So it creates a great overall learning opportunity for students further down the line, so we can get people more prepared.
Yes, sir. Okay. That's smart. So the next group of Noyce programs for the next generation will hopefully be even more educated than our generation, possibly, right?
The fields are changing all the time. I mean, as you know, the AI stuff is changing everything, and we're working to move fast on that, I think we're actually moving really fast on that in a very positive way.
Yes, sir, because it's here to stay, and
it's not going anywhere. Yeah,
we got to learn to embrace it and teach these new students how to use it as a tool to not only help them better understand, but to also explain to others why they're using it and what it helped them learn.
Right, exactly. And all of these educators, we want them to be empowered. We want them to feel strong in their subject knowledge, and it also helps that in our case, for our program, we're very focused on the communities in which Sul Ross exists in, which is actually quite a very large geographic spread in the U.S., because we have those campuses over in the Eagle Pass, Del Rio, Uvalde area. We have programs running in Midland, and then here in our Alpine base, and all these pull from such a large geographic range, most of it associated with a good chunk of, Texas's borderland communities, which, they don't have the shiny gleaming cities that the center of Texas has, with San Antonio and Austin, and then you get your DFWs and your Houston. Some of these communities really, really need these teachers who are dedicated to serving these communities that don't necessarily, a lot of the larger programs, they don't think of even looking at these smaller communities.
Right. So the STEM program alone, it is a lot more of a challenging path. So why do you think it's very important that other mentors like yourself are stepping in to help these students get through these obstacles?
So I think it's really important. Oh, my pen flew away. I think it's really important because, understanding the subject matter helps in so many ways in terms of preparing students to reflect, or the students who are going through the STEM program to go above and beyond even what they're going to teach. So when they do get a student or something who is showing some major promise, they're not shut down in any way, shape, or form. They can help embrace that. And I think also the mentorship opens up some really great opportunities. I've been thinking about these sometimes, and I've got to figure out what to do with them a little bit. But some of them are like, by creating these STEM professors going out to regions of different schools, they'll know based on their experience as mentees what specialties their mentors have. So if they have a student who's showing real, amazing promise within a STEM field, instead of being like, I don't know how to help you, we can we can maybe create earlier bridges. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this in larger communities, such as when I lived in El Paso, where some of these schools that are close to, you say, UTEP, high school students will start projects with university professors. And I think there's opportunities that we can build that kind of program from this mentorship situation.
Yes, sir.
And I think, again, from the direct mentorship to the mentee, I think, again, not everybody's skilled in every area, and letting students know where they're at as far as being STEM prepared and educationally prepared. Mm-hmm. They're doing great.
Yeah.
Because it gets scary. They feel strong in one area. Maybe they feel strong in the teaching, and they're like, great, I can teach, but I'm struggling in, say, genetics, cell biology, some higher level math that they have to take as part of the degree program for biology. And you say, no, you're doing just fine. Mm-hmm. You're doing good. This is great. Are you going to be able to convey the basics of what you're taking away from these classes? The students you're going to teach are probably not going to be going in as much depth as the courses you're taking, but you having that background knowledge in it will make you much more of a fountain of knowledge for your students to help grow and inspire your students later.
Right. I think that's the beautiful thing about this institution, Sul Ross, especially in Alpine. A lot of our instructors, there are a lot of them are willing to get out of their shell and actually get to know you and help you and build a relationship. A lot, like you said, in our bigger cities like El Paso and Dallas, even, them professors, they have a lot going on, triple our numbers sometimes. And the fact that we're here in a small room, I feel like it's special because everybody gets to know who everybody is and they understand, and they're all one community. You're hitting on something really great in general that I think is sometimes lost in communication about why sometimes attending a smaller school versus a giant school is right for a lot of students. And some of those reasons are those personal relationships that are allowed to develop. I remember an unsuccessful attempt I took once at a chemistry class. Very unsuccessful attempt. But I sat in an absolute, what would you call it? A huge auditorium. I think there were 400, 500 students all taking chemistry 2 in this huge auditorium. Me and that school did not last. It was not meant to be. Did they have strong programs in my field? Yeah, they had really strong programs in my field, but it was not a good fit for me. I need these personal connections. These personal connections and experiences are actually very important to me as a person. And so teaching or mentoring at a place like Sul Ross, just like when I was a student, it's very comfortable. It's very useful. It allows me to be used in ways beyond just my subject specialty. Right. So what's one big takeaway that you hope a lot of these scholars in the Noyce program or even your mentees take away when they go on to start their careers in teaching?
Oh, this is a great question, because I think it's really important to note, and I hope I sometimes convey this, that I have a huge wealth of background knowledge, but in every one of my classes, I always have at least one student who's gone on a deep dive on a subject that I know fairly well, but the aspect they went down, I've never looked at papers on it. I've never looked at things, and I'm like, I'd love to hear more about that. I'd love to, you send me the paper. I'd like to see it, but I cannot answer your question about that right now because this field is it's such a big field. Mm-hmm. There's so much to know. You can't know it all, but what you can do is you can help say, I don't know right now, but I can help fill in the gaps. We can work together to find the answer.
Yes, sir.
And I think that is one of the things that, kind of that they can take away is that they don't need to know everything at every moment of every day.
Yes, sir.
They can know enough to get by and know that they know how to find more information when they need to.
Right.
And yeah, that's a huge strength, I think. And just in general, I mean, the good days feel so much better than the bad ones, but the bad ones are often more numerous.
Right.
The days that kind of drain you a little bit can be a little more numerous, but those good days and those good days when everybody's engaged and you feel like you hit a vibe, a good movement, and you can just ride that for a week or two until hopefully you hit your next vibe.
Yes, sir.
Because you don't have to hit it every day. You should aim to hit it every day.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to state that your effort must not be there every day. The effort's got to be there, and you got to be prepared and all that.
Yes, sir. It's all about those baby steps, One thing a coach always told me out here at Thor Ross, just stack your days. Because before you know it, you're going to be soaring up here with towers. You'll be stacking your days because, of course, not every day is going to be ideal or perfect. But being willing to take the next step into the unknown, I feel like is something that these scholars are really going to have the strength to do.
Absolutely. And you're hitting on something really great right now with these baby step things. That's great that your coach has told you that, because what I see in a lot of the classes I teach that I try to get across to students is pretty much where we're starting in a class, it can seem very confusing, but that is foundational information. You learn that, it's easier to learn the next step. You learn that, it's easier. And these courses are designed in a way to build up. Specifically, of course, Biology 1 does that. Biology 2 does that. Genetics does that really well. Cell biology does that really well. But it's all designed in that way because then by the time you're leaving class, those key foundational topics should be ingrained in your head to a point where things you might have had trouble with learning, like vocab at the very beginning of the semester, is all of a sudden it's there because it has to be there in order for you to know, this thing all the way in chapter 20. You need to know the chapter 1 stuff to know chapter 20 stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Is there?
And understanding that and applying that same tactic from athletics to general learning, I think is a great thing to learn.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad to have this opportunity to have a conversation with you, and it was a good one.
Hey, man, we can go as long as you want. We can do whatever. Freedom. I don't know.
We got free will today. But yes, sir. That's about all the questions I have for you.
All right.
If there's anything else you'd like to let them know about the Noyce program or yourself, feel free.
So, I mean, all I'm going to say about the Noyce program is anybody who's got an interest in teaching, definitely wants to teach, and thinks themselves not being in more of a high school capacity, they should definitely look into the Noyce program. It's the amount of support that it gives to students in it is phenomenal. Yeah. It eases such a financial burden. It eases the cost of entry of certification because, right, the program kind of covers the certification process as well as all the pre-testing. I mean, that is so incredibly helpful and just I think should, in a lot of people's minds, eliminate some of the fears that often come along with taking something where, yeah, you go through all these classes. Am I going to know it well enough to pass the certification test? If you're part of Noyce, you should be, you will pass the certification test. I mean, the tools are all there for your success. And the burdens of going through programs like programs and having to be concerned about things such as financial things are eased because of the Noyce programs. So there's just so much that it offers to the students. I mean, I wish sometimes there was almost a better way to shake a student and be like, do you realize how much you can get out of this? Come on, just sign up. It's a beautiful thing. You're going to feel so much better.
Yes, sir. That's what I've learned talking with a couple of our scholars here for the Noyce program. A lot of them do feel the weight of the world off their shoulders just by being a part of the team.
Which in today's world of academics and the cost of education is, man, I wish I had something like that when I was going through things. It was, I'm still dealing with some of that. So,
Yes, I think it's very special because one thing I've learned talking to a lot of students here at Ross that aren't even affiliated with any type of program or sports, so oftentimes they could feel alone, like they feel there's no support. And the only way that I've seen any type of athlete, I would say student, have any support is when they're athletes because they have a team of everybody around them. But the Noyce program, we're kind of like a team, just like these sports. Because when I saw them here getting an Alpine for their awards assembly, they were like a little family. They had each other's help, they had each other's back. They're giving good feedback, and they look excited to really attack the year.
No, I think Dr. Milleray has done a great job of really building kind of a Noyce family that supports each other as well as helps them individually through. But that is one of the challenges of a small school when you think about it. I mean, we have the only easy entry into finding a group is kind of athletics because you automatically have a bunch of people that you're working with all the time. Other than that, it takes a little bit of, I don't want to say risk feels like the wrong word, but it's kind of right. But you need to feel, I guess, some sort of bravery to show up to a club meeting, to show up to some sort of organization that you might want to be a part of, which, again, Noyce falls under that a little bit, where there is a little bit of kind of bravery involved in taking those steps.
Yes, sir.
Which, I mean, I hope stuff like this discussion we're having, or the fact that mentors such as myself and a lot of the other mentors on campus, we when we learn about what the students' goals are, career goals, life goals, that we can then help steer them towards something like Noyce to do. I think that can be really helpful to students, but it's still, from my thoughts of a student perspective, it can take still a little bit of bravery to help work through those doors, I guess, walk through those doors.
That's why I'm trying to have these conversations with different people so it gets out there and these other students see that it is possible. It's not out of reach for them. They're here getting their education for a reason, Like, they're more than capable. They just got to have the faith to take that next step. And
absolutely,
hopefully hearing us speak about what we do and what we're about, it informs them more well. And
another thing is, I mean, from an education standpoint for educators, going this direction is a very practical step, and in terms of education, I think certain programs, the line isn't always as clear to students. Where does what I'm learning correlate with my future career? Some programs, it's very challenging to help draw those lines. We're always trying to do a better job of figuring out how to help draw those lines, but I think the Noyce program helps really make those things clear.
Yes, sir. All right, well, that's all I got for the day.
All right. Happy to help.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yep.